Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, a conversation with Dr. Ernie Minton, the Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State. Talk about all those things going on throughout the campus as well as around the state. We'll also have updates from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, as well as the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com. Well, in agriculture news, despite rapid increases in input costs, widespread drought, and low yield, net income on Kansas farms held strong in 2022. That according to a report out from the Kansas Farm Management Association. KFMA Executive Director Mark Dykman notes that this year, Kansas net farm income came in at $164,914, just below the five-year average of $173,660, but well ahead of the five-year period between 2016 and 2020, when the state's net farm income averaged $99,497. Now, 1 year ago, KFMA reported net farm income $319,180, spurred by a combination of farmers buying inputs at lower prices and capitalizing on some strong crop yields, robust grain prices, and pandemic-related government payments. It was the highest net farm income average ever recorded in Kansas, according to KFMA, which has kept records since 1970. The report on 2022 reflects average net farm income for 834 Kansas farms that work with KFMA economists in 6 regions across the state. They work with individuals, with farm families, and to provide farm-specific production and financial management information that can be used in making decisions. KFMA was formed in 1931. And crop insurance is the cornerstone of America's farm safety net and supports the rural economy and America's national food security. So the National Crop Insurance Services has assembled several fact sheets that highlight the importance of agriculture and also are demonstrating how crop insurance keeps America growing. For example, crop insurance protects more than 490 million acres of U.S. farmland, covers 136 crops, 604 varieties, and 36 different insurance plans. Crop insurance does require farmers to invest in their own protection and share the risk. Last year, farmers paid $6.8 billion to buy more than 1.2 million crop insurance policies. This public-private partnership between the federal government and private crop insurers ensures that the aid is delivered quickly, usually within 30 days or so of a claim that is being finalized. And if that's not enough, the number of Americans who benefit from the bountiful supply of domestically produced food totals 336 million. If you want to find a state-by-state breakdown, it's available online at cropinsuranceInMyState.org. A conversation with Dr. Ernie Minton, Dean of the College of Agriculture at K-State, when we return. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And our guest is Dr. Ernie Minton, who is the Dean of the College of Agriculture, Kansas State University. Dr. Minton, always great to catch up with you.
Ken, it's great to be on. I'm happy to be with you.
Well, it seems like every time we talk, there's just a little bit more excitement, and there are so many great things going on the campus of Kansas State University.
Oh, absolutely. We had a great event last week. On top of that, it was raining, which was a good thing, forced us inside. Had a great time last week myself on the hard winter wheat quality tour. So that was good. And yeah, lots of stuff happening.
Well, let's talk about really the excitement of this agronomic center. I know a lot of folks that come in the fall were kind of wondering what was going to happen. There's a little bit of dirt work being done, but really the kickoff, which is kind of the kickoff of the big fundraising that you were kind of key in getting that taken care of. Great investment being made within the College of Agriculture and going to put K-State right at the top of to be able to get students and faculty that really want to tackle some of the agronomic challenges.
Yes, that is exactly right. And to recap for your listeners, we had an opportunity. We received $25 million in state funding last appropriated, I think, last year from the legislature, and then we could have access to an additional 25 if we could raise $75 million. We did have a really, really short, so 3-to-1 match. We had a very, very short time frame in which to do that. But lo and behold, we were able to do it, and that said a lot to us. That said that among the public donors, Kansas Farm Bureau, Kansas soybeans, and really all the commodity groups contributed. Kansas Farm Bureau and soybeans were very public with the presentation of the big check on the field of the football game. But what that said to us is that we were on the right track, and our key stakeholders believe that we were on the right track. So we had an extremely successful fundraising run to get this thing kicked off, and we've got really, really 4 projects in the works, some new building and then some renovations as well.
Well, those are exciting. I know many of us are looking forward to seeing around the Weber Hall Arena, Call Hall, and some of those things being done, and really that not changing the mission, but really looking at a new way of bringing all this knowledge together.
Yeah, that's exactly right. With the arrival of our new president, Richard Linton, in 2022, he had just come from NC State, where they had were just about to complete the North Carolina Plant Sciences Initiative building, which was designed to house a very interdisciplinary research work in addition to public-private partnerships. So SAS, I think, and maybe Microsoft and a few others actually had office space and employees that were housed in that building. So he brought that way of doing business, here with us, and interdisciplinary work is known to be the way to really solve the big challenges that face food and agriculture going forward. So we're happy to embrace that concept as well. So this past week we had the official groundbreaking for the agronomy research and innovation centers. They're just north of Kimball, across from the football stadium. We have a livestock performance arena that's planned, then a new building that will be on the main campus and be located on the corner between Call and Weber Hall, and renovations to Call and Weber that are planned. Now, that new building is meant to house the Department of Grain Sciences and Industry, because their old building needs to come down. It's just not possible to renovate that building. But we also plan to make sure that their faculty are integrated with the food science faculty in Call Hall, with the livestock nutritionists that are mostly in Weber Hall. But also, we may very well bring collaborating scientists from other parts of the campus to really create a very strong multidisciplinary flavor to that new building to really tackle the challenging problems going forward. And that approach will be what we use out at the Agronomy Innovation Center as well. The obvious connection there is bio and ag engineering in terms of precision agriculture, precision spraying, weed control, that kind of stuff, precision tillage that are going to be the way we farm going forward.
We're talking with Dr. Ernie Minton, who is the Dean of the College of Agriculture, Kansas State University. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk academics and what's going on there in Waters and other places on the campus. We'll do that in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com. And our guest is Dr. Ernie Minton, who is the Dean of the College of Agriculture at K-State. And Dr. Minton, this year it seemed like it went by quick. The academic year is wrapped up, and I would call it success. A lot of great graduates and a lot of other of those outside programs, those little extracurricular programs, saw a lot of success within the College of Agriculture this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. As you mentioned, this is a great time on campus in terms of both weather and the pace maybe slows down just a little bit, but it reminds us really what we're all about here at K-State's College of Agriculture, and that is really creating that workforce to go out and meet the needs of our food and agriculture stakeholders. So yeah, we just had commencement. We continue to have a very, very strong job placement. That's is a reflection, of course, of the strong, relatively strong economy in the U.S. But we've had that kind of 97-98% placement rate for a number of years going forward. Well, we do have some challenges that we're continuing to address, and we've got some optimism that the number of new freshmen admits are up for the college for the second year in a row. They're just they're slight but growing, but going forward, we anticipate a lot more students that come from neighboring states to be in the College of Agriculture as well. We welcome them with open arms. President Linton initiated a program to award scholarships for the best of the best of students, and this was a program that was utilized very, very effectively at the University of Arkansas. Students with a 3.8 to 4.0 GPA, and this is from memory, but I think I'm right about this, can come to K-State as an out-of-state student, but pay in-state tuition. We couple that with increased scholarship opportunities, and we think we can really provide a very, very competitive and compelling offer to students to come study in the College of Agriculture.
Well,
one other thing I might
yes,
mention, if we have time,
yes,
is to very specifically address the student enrollment challenge in the Department of Grain Sciences and Industry. We've hired for the first time a recruiting person to really be targeted on specific degree programs. And we've never done that in the college, and we're hopeful that it will be very successful going forward.
Well, absolutely. I think with the new facilities and this
Yeah.
also rejuvenates the faculty, and it is exciting to see, as I always love to mention, and of course it's something you live every day as well, K-State being the first land grant. We also want to make sure we continue to maintain, if not be there, get to the top and remain there. So thank you for your effort to Dr. Linton and others and everybody there within the College of Agriculture. It is an exciting time. I was there with you at that dedication,
Right.
Dr. Linton, and to have a full house of agriculture leaders and supporters of K-State was, sometimes you got to take that little hat off and not be necessarily, you can sometimes have to be a cheerleader rather than a journalist sometime, but it is exciting. It is great to see the work that is going on. So we appreciate the time to kind of give us an in-depth look at everything that's going on, and hopefully get a little bit of relaxation this summer and then hit her hard again in the fall. It's going to be here before you know it.
Oh, you bet. You bet. Looking forward to it. Yeah. And thank you. That was a fantastic event.
Great. Dr. Ernie Minton, who is the Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, joining us. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Hi, my name is Rachel and I'm an agronomist at K-State, and today we're going to dissect a corn seed and talk about its different parts. So when we're talking about corn seeds, each of them has 3 different parts that are really important. The first is protection on the outside of the seed to keep it safe. That's called the seed coat, and it's really hard to make sure that the seed doesn't get damaged. The second part is what's called endosperm. It's on the inside and it's food for that plant when it starts growing. The last part is the embryo, which is the living part that actually turns into the plant. And the really cool thing about corn seeds, there's a lot of really cool things about corn seeds, but one of my favorite parts is the fact that when we put that seed in the ground, there are already 4 to 5 leaves that are developed on that tiny little embryo that's in the seed. It already has 4 to 5 leaves on it already. So all the leaves you see on this little plant here were already developed in the seed when that seed went in the ground. And if we cut a seed open, like I've already done here, we can see the white starchy part, which is the food that plant will use. And then the darker area is the embryo, which is where the tiny baby plant is. And that's what the different parts of the corn seed are.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Wheat. For thousands of years, wheat has represented something essential to a diverse group of people across the world. A way to make a living. A way to create new opportunities. A way to feed a family. Put simply, a way of life. Wheat symbolizes hard work, doing things the right way, even when it's not the easy way. It embodies stable values in an ever-changing global economy. But in today's world, hard work and belief are no longer enough on their own. It is time to push the boundaries of wheat's potential, of our potential. We must collectively focus on using research and data to help us move forward. Fields Forward aims to do just that by funding current wheat research projects that improve yield and quality, by maintaining and developing technology and facilities necessary for future wheat research, and by cultivating new talent in the wheat breeding and genetics industry. Generations from now, the wheat industry may look different, but with our efforts today, it will continue to honor the heritage that unites us all. Fields Forward, the campaign for a sustainable wheat future.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
After graduating from Kansas State University in 2016, Garrett Holliday became an ag lender at a local bank and bought into the family cattle operation in Jackson County. Today, he and his wife Randy manage 90 fall calving Angus cows. Garrett began serving on the Jackson County Farm Bureau Board in 2018 and has led in various positions, including communication chair and most recently, board president. He engaged in the Jackson County End Hunger campaign, issues surfacing, and Vote FBF, in addition to helping facilitate ag education events like the FFA Speech Night, the Kitty Pedal Pull, and the Ag and Water Festival. At the state level, Garrett is a leadership KFB graduate, has served on the Hay and Forage Committee, attended the YF&R Conference and Day at the State House, and served as a county host for the Big Tent Tour. The Holliday family is driven to continue bridging the gap between agriculture and the youth. By working alongside Kansas Farm Bureau, they hope to get younger generations interested in the agricultural heritage and encourage them to support agriculture.
Rural families are built different, but life isn't always easy.
Mental health would be kind of like bankruptcy. If you don't take care of it first, it could spiral downward. There is help out there, and to reach out and get help before it's too late.
There is help. Talk to a family member or your doctor. Text or call 988. Above all, don't suffer in silence. For more resources, visit kfb.org/Rural Minds Matter.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Senator Roger Marshall, along with Senator Peter Welch of Vermont, recently introduced bipartisan legislation that would give beef producers greater access to consumers nationwide. The Direct Interstate Retail Exemptions for Certain Transactions Act would create a narrow and simple exemption to allow smaller, state-inspected meat processors to sell beef in different and innovative ways by providing more flexibility for interstate sales. This would support cattle producers without jeopardizing food safety or access to export markets. Currently, meat and poultry cannot be sold across state lines unless processed at a USDA-inspected facility. According to Kansas Livestock Association Chief Executive Officer Matt Teagarden, Kansas producers have an opportunity to market their high-quality beef directly to consumers, but many lack access to federally inspected meat plants. He said the Direct Act would offer new direct-to-consumer options for producers by allowing interstate sales of state-inspected meat. Many of these marketing options, including selling beef through e-commerce, increased in popularity during the pandemic. The Direct Act would help that continue while also ensuring a paper trail exists for tracing and containing any potential food safety issues.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Good morning, this is Jake McCall with Pinion Ag. We are steadily making our way into the summer growing season after a very rapid spring planting pace. Now that the majority of the crop is in the ground, all eyes will be on the weather forecast to determine this year's crop, and the market will be watching. So far, there's still a lot of ground with less moisture than would be ideal, especially in western Kansas and Nebraska. However, some relief has been found in scattered showers over the past few weeks that will attempt to replenish soil moisture where it can. Grains rallied across the board last week going into Memorial Day weekend, but from there it will largely be a weather market as we see that the U.S. is continually priced over the world market, a phenomenon demonstrated continually by poor export numbers. Cattle markets continue to march higher as we've seen an unseasonably strong cash trade for fat steers. With a large spread between northern and southern cash prices, it is likely that cattle will be trucked from south to north to fill this opportunity. In other spaces, all markets are still watching to see how the debt ceiling will be handled in D.C. While it is more than likely a deal will be reached, it is always a subject that unnerves Wall Street investors. If you have any questions or would like to discuss your marketing strategies, feel free to reach out at 888-452-8751. I'm Jake McCall with Pinion Ag, and I hope you have a safe and productive day.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us online, KansasAgReport.net, or our social media channels. It's already June, so we wish you all a great summer. I'm Ken Rogers. We'll see you next week here on the Kansas Ag Report.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.